Imagine. Cathy Scott on the live tonight, guys. Cathy Scott is on the live tonight. So I'm gonna be waiting for everybody to come in. We're gonna go ahead and call her. It's about 7:53 here in Phoenix, Mountain Time. So we're gonna go ahead and call her. Yeah, let's see what's cracking. What's good, Andy Bunuestro? What up, Ray? Hello, Ray. Street Disciple. What up, dog? What's popping, dog? Marsha Felix. Gonda. Robert Hicks. What's up? What up, Robert Hicks? Todd Whithour. What up, Danny? What up, Todd Whithour? Big shout out to you, brother, for that last video. I believe that too, right? Let's Talk Now TV. Hats good. Wired Street Disciple chilling. Picasso to Picasso. Picasso to Picasso. Devil the Child, Ajayuda. Greetings from the San Francisco Bay Area, Richmond, California. Marsha Felix, what going on? Brad Cox, hey, Wisconsin in the house, smoking on that Granddaddy Purple. Man, I used to love Granddaddy Purple, man. When I first started smoking, I used to love that shit. What up to Mr. Joe Gracia, says Todd Whithour. For sure, big shout out to Joe Gracia Jr. He should be on here right now. So, guys, we're going to have Cathy Scott on the live tonight. She'll be on here at 8. So, I just wanted to come on a little early to get all you guys in here before we go ahead and call her. Before we call her, I want you guys in here. Preston Gower, I didn't think I would be able to watch the live because I thought I would be asleep. Well, Preston Gower, I'm glad you're watching the live. And I'm glad you're not asleep, dog. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad you're not asleep, bro. I'm glad. Picasso to Picasso. Do they make the hat say Machiavelli then flip and show Casanova? Yeah, check it out. Look. So it says Casanova, right? Casanova. And then when you flip it over, it says Machiavelli. You guys can't probably see it because, the mirror image shit. But yeah, it does say that. You know what I'm saying? Feel me? But yeah, a big shout out to Reneo. You know what I'm saying, for sending us these hats. No regulators way say Machiavelli, not flip it. But yeah, guys, so we're gonna have Cathy Scott, which is the person that wrote the book, The Killing of Tupac Shakur, the first book ever released after the September 7th, 1996 incident. And that was the lady that actually released the Tupac Autopsy. The Autopsy, all you guys have seen a million times on millions of channels, millions of documentaries, millions of books. She's the first person to release it. She was the one that grabbed it and got a hold of it and released it. So that's what we're gonna have on here, guys. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, Joe Grasser Jr. Remember to remind me about those questions, dog. I got a bad memory. The questions that we were talking about. Just so remind me what we're gonna ask her and stuff like that. Okay, please. Francisco Ramos says, "What's up? What up, dog? How do you know or have ties with Tupac's family?" Says Preston Gower. It's simple because certain people that I know and that I had acquaintances with, I had questions that only certain people could answer, and they trusted me. And they would ask for me, and then the person wanted to actually speak to me. So then they started to, involve me in the conversations, and then from then, I started speaking to them personally, and then I would get to know more people from them, because I had more questions. Before I started doing my channel, um, I was just interested in Pac. I didn't make any videos. I was just a big researcher, just like a lot of you guys, and all that good stuff. And that's how I got that. That's how I started meeting them. Why was the two pictures of them in a Beamer the picture on the cover of the book? About the two pictures I sent you with Suge having the red dragon on hand. Was it a dragon? I could have swore it was the. Okay, I didn't know what it was. I know it was a keychain thing, right? The second picture is not in it, and was supposedly only one picture of them at the spotlight, and we found two. Ask if Leonard Jefferson really worked for a car transportation company that worked with them with movie companies. I will. We know the $1 million question. How did she get it? Why the face is not showing for show? I don't know if she's gonna actually answer those questions, Picasso to Picasso, but I'm gonna ask him. I'm gonna ask him. Keychain thing is nuts. Yeah, I could have sworn it was a death row keychain. For some reason, I always thought it was a death row keychain, guys. Joe Grasser just said it was a red dragon. That's crazy. I didn't know that. It is true that she received a photo from a homicide instructor that Foot took the photo of Tupac to put in their training manuals. I believe she's admitted that she got it from somebody she knew. I don't know if she admitted where that person was, but I've heard somewhere that that person lived on a street. You know what I'm saying? But who knows? You know what I'm saying? Who knows? You know what I mean? What? Hold on, guys. All right, guys, my bad. It was something else. It's so funny. So funny, so funny. But yeah, yeah. It was a red sock. It was a red sock. You can scroll back. I gave you the questions for sure, man. But when she's on here, if you don't mind putting up again, if I don't remember them, I'll go ahead and tell you to re-ask them. And what does she think about the ear identification thing that I found that proves that Tupac was not the one in the autopsy picture? For sure, for sure, for sure. Yeah. All right, y'all. Okay. Have you checked out the Easter eggs in the? She, she's probably gonna knock out right now. What your hat say? Well, Nia, it says, "Wired up. Do you think Elvis is alive?" I have not done any research on Elvis, y'all. But yeah, I don't know nothing about Elvis, or I would tell you. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna go ahead and call her right now. So the screen might freeze a little bit, little bit, little bit. But yes, I'm gonna go ahead and call Cathy Scott. So you guys get your questions ready, and get ready to ask her. It was a red sock. Okay. Why would he have a red sock, Joe Gracia? Really? It was a red sock? A sock? I mean, like a real. Oh, you mean like the Red Sox thing, or like an actual red sock, like that goes on your foot? Yeah, my hat says Casanova like this. So it says Casanova. Then when you flip it over, it says Machiavelli. Sugar was holding a red sock like sometimes people put their weed pipe in. Okay, Joe. Joe, you're a trip, Joe. You're a trip. Doug, I don't know if you're messing with me or if you're trying to be real. I don't know. What about Michael Jackson still being alive? Because I believe he alive and well. ¿Qué pasó? Yeah, but yeah. No, no sé. I don't know. But where can we get the hats? You can get them on Reneo.com, y'all, and support. You know what I'm saying? And guys, be sure that when you go on Reneo.com, tell them that you guys want your wired up TV hats. Tell them to make them. You know what I'm saying? The hat says Casanova and upside down says Machiavelli. Yeah. All right, guys. So I'm about to call Cathy Scott right now to get her on. All right, guys. Hold on.
This is Kathy.
Hi, Cathy. This is Danny.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. And yourself?
Good, good. It's nice to talk to you.
Oh, you too. You too. It's a pleasure to finally actually talk to you for the first time. I've been a big fan of your book for a while.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I've also seen you on countless documentaries and stuff like that.
I'm on all the time.
Yeah, you're
I just, I say yes, I go on TV.
okay. That's what's up. All right. So can we get started with this, or can you introduce
Sure.
yourself and tell the
Okay.
people your name and where you come from and all that good stuff?
Okay. So are we live?
Yes, we are live.
Okay. Right now?
Yes.
Cool. Okay.
Okay.
I'm Kathy Scott. I'm a Kathy Scott. I'm a journalist and author, and my first book was The Killing of Tupac Shakur, and my second book was The Murder of Biggie Smalls. And
Okay.
I've written 12 books.
Oh wow, 12 books. That's a lot. You're busy, huh?
I'm busy, yeah. I like to be busy.
That's good. Yeah, it's healthy for the mind, right? To be busy.
Yeah, and unfortunately, crime. and murder happens to keep me busy. So one of those things.
Yeah, that's true. So, all right, first question um, that we have from Preston Gower, and he asked, "What inspired you to write the first book of Tupac?"
Well, I was a reporter at the Las Vegas Sun. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, yeah, we can hear you.
Good. So I was a reporter at the Las Vegas Sun, and um, Tupac, I covered crime, and there were a couple of reporters in the newsroom who covered crime as well. But I had the day shift, so I was a main police reporter at the paper, and I got a call at around 2:30 in the morning from a source at the police department who said I should go down to the Las Vegas Strip. That a rapper by the name of Tupac Shakur, he couldn't even pronounce his name, said was shot. And so I did go down there, and crime scene people were still down, and the CSI people, detectives had left. But um, I think whoever it was who called me, it was on his way home. After being at the scene, and I covered the case from that moment on. And what brought me to write it was the police weren't solving it, and they didn't in Las Vegas. They didn't appear to have any desire to solve it. And I typically write about underdogs, and Tupac was clearly an underdog in this case, and they didn't want to solve his case, and so I just kept writing and ended up turning it. I had a couple of people telling me I should write a book, and I'd never written one and never had any desire how I felt about it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they and it's crazy that they still haven't solved it to this day, and it's been 24 years later.
Well, yeah, well, you don't have to. I mean, they could declare Orlando Anderson the killer. All evidence, it's a neon sign, all evidence points to him. For crime, for murder, all crimes, you have motive, um, opportunity, and means. The means was the gun, a Glock. The opportunity was they knew where he was going to be. They went down to the club looking for him and went on the street, and they ran into him, as they were going back and forth. It's a straight shot down, from Las Vegas Boulevard, the Strip, to the club where he was going, and everybody knew. There was a line outside the door that wrapped around the building. There were flyers out. Radio was covering that Tupac was going to be performing, and um, so that was the opportunity. And then the motive, of course, was Tupac and Suge and their entourage, kicked and stomped on Orlando Anderson because he was accused of ripping off his Trayvon's death row pennant, around his neck, his gold chain, and pinned it. And um, there you go, means, opportunity, and motive, and it's all there. And the police, they just don't. They could just say Orlando Anderson's the killer and case is closed. They won't do it.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I don't think they care. I don't think they care about a black rapper. I think it's something they wanted to go away, and they don't want to stir it up again. But I just don't. I think they just don't care. I mean, it's plain and simple. At the time, um, I was told that the reason they didn't want to solve it was having a trial, naming a killer, and that would, a suspect, naming Orlando Anderson as the suspect, would have brought a lot of a lot of you know gang members and whatnot, because he was a gangster to town. It would be bad for tourism, but it would be bad for tourism.
Yeah,
And I mean, Vegas is all about the money. It's
yeah,
all about greed, and so it was an eye opener. Although I'd been a reporter there at the time for 5 years, five or about 4 years at the time when Tupac. Well, when the book came out, it was about 4 years, but um, and I been a reporter before that. That wasn't my first newspaper, but it was an eye opener for me that there really was, there just was, and I was getting that from the top. They weren't going to solve it. They didn't want to. They just wanted it to go away. Biggest thing they'd seen in years, besides mob trials and stuff. It
Mm-hmm.
was the biggest case that hit. So, God forbid there should be a shooting, and it's justice. You don't take, police departments aren't supposed to take tourism into mind and how how good a town is going to be, revenue and that sort of thing. That isn't law enforcement's job, but apparently, in some cities that they do. It gets a little political.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, that's very true. I don't know how they. Yeah, I just don't know. So
I don't know how they live with themselves. How do you go to bed at night?
yeah, exactly. Just because, like you said, just because he's a thug rapper, they don't want to solve it. I mean, just for the money. That's just crazy. That's crazy. Um,
Yeah, tour would be bad for tourism.
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. So Todd
Stupid.
Witter asks also. He wants to know. Ask Cathy if she's talked to any specific detectives and if she has any connections to share in regards to the case or any new news,
Well,
I guess.
I've regularly talked to the cops. I was plugged in. I don't live there anymore, but I was plugged in when I was there, and I still can pick up a phone anytime and call. I am in contact with a homicide cop who's retired, and periodically he and I chat on, messaging on Facebook. But um, there's just nothing has changed. I mean, you see different people come along, and different stories come along, and either they won't talk, or they do the same documentaries. A couple of them have done the same documentaries I've done. It was interesting because the lieutenant at the case at the time, who was in charge of the homicide bureau, and Lieutenant Peterson.
Mm-hmm.
He's retired now, and they all get good jobs after they retire from homicide. But he's in Vegas still, and he's gone on the air. But I interviewed him um, pretty pretty quickly after, and then after the crime, and then of course in several years that followed, and I've done a third edition. It came out in 2014. So every time I do one, a new edition, or if I write about it for another outlet, then I make phone calls. And I used to run into, once he retired, it might have been before the lieutenant retired, but I would write at a coffee house and take my laptop and sit for a few hours and write. And he would meet some retired cops there, and they would get together, and he and I chatted a couple of times. And um, I've asked him the same questions over and over. It was funny, but not funny, but funny in a bad way. He, um, Lieutenant Peterson told me that they didn't cooperate, and because they didn't cooperate, then why should we push it?
Yeah.
And that, since when do people have to cooperate in order? You just haul their butts into court with a subpoena, or to a grand jury or whatever. When do people have to cooperate?
Mm-hmm.
And almost blaming, and the sergeant said the same thing, and we have a lot of that today, but almost blaming the victims, because everybody in the entourage, I mean, the shots were fired, at the party of Tupac, and Suge, and at the party of people they were with in the cars in a caravan. So they all really were victims.
Yeah.
But it's just, there's nothing, as long as as long as the people don't want it, the higher ups don't want to, look at the evidence that Compton PD gave them on Orlando Anderson, handed him to them on a silver platter, and they declined to even question him. And then 18 months later, Orlando Anderson got dead.
Mm.
So, he's gone now. But they can still name him as the killer, but they don't want to do it.
Yeah. Um. Uh. How did you get the Joe Grassa Jr. By the way, Joe Grassa Jr. Said hello. By the way, he's a big fan.
Hi. Oh, hi.
And he's asking about the two different pictures of Tupac and shooting. I guess that it was the picture, their last picture before the shooting.
There aren't two different ones. There's just one.
Yeah, well, he's saying because
I mean,
they,
if he's seen a separate one, I can tell you the the photographer was Leonard Jefferson. He actually, I wrote the Freeway Rick Ross autobiography with Rick, and Rick and I had a book signing at I think it was SO1. It was near Compton, and Leonard came to the book launch, and of Freeway Rick's book. Freeway is a good guy. I don't know if you've ever interviewed him, have you?
no, not yet, no.
Oh, hey, I'll hook you up.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, I'll hook you up.
Okay.
I'll get you with him. I can give you contact info, and you use my name,
Oh,
and I'll
thank you
give you.
so much,
He's a
Kathy.
great guy. Yeah, he's on tour all the time with the book. He loves to do interviews. He's a great interviewer, so I'll hook you up. But anyway, so Leonard went to the book signing. So I had interviewed him several times on the phone, but it was nice to see him in person, and we took a photo together. But what he did was he was a freelance photographer, and I mean, the circumstances how he took it.
Yeah, how?
Okay, well, he was there for it's kind of an extended answer, but he was there for the fight as a freelance photographer, and he's just heading down the strip. The fight was over, and he's heading down the strip, and he sees a BMW next to him, and and he turns again, and the window's down, and he goes, "Oh, hey, Suge and Pac, they're stopped," because it was just stop and go traffic, on a fight night. And
Yeah.
um, yeah, it's just, I mean, it's just you go 2 miles an hour, and he yells over, "Hey, Suge Pac, what's up?" And they said, "Oh, we're going to a party. You want to come?" And he said, "Yeah, yeah." And they said, "Follow us." And he said, "But can I take a picture first?" And so he shot him, and it's just that deadpan look on Shook's on both their faces. They just turned to look at him. He shoots a photo, and then he got behind them, and he was in the entourage when he was shot, when Tupac was shot, and Suge was shot too, in the neck, but back of the head, shrapnel lodged. He still has it in the back of his head, but so that's how that was done. So then he turned around, and when the story just blew up, he sold the photo and he only sold one. That he may have sold more, but my understanding is he sold one. My publisher paid $5,000 for the rights to use that photo on the cover, and um, it's so if thinks he's seeing two, it might be just the lighting, but that was one that Leonard's on Facebook. Leonard Jefferson, look him up. It's a bona fide photo, and he's a bona fide photog.
Yeah.
It's a nice guy. You could chat with him if you wanted to. Probably kind of a shy guy, quiet. He's
Okay.
black. He's black, and he'll he's a nice guy. Just was making a living, and he took the last photo of Tupac alive, and so he sold it to one of those. I don't know what it is. Then all the newspapers, magazines, book people come to them, and they all buy it for a
Yeah.
very large amount of money.
Oh wow. Well,
Yeah,
I guess
is it?
that was a blessing for him, right?
Yeah, and I think it was, it was. I mean, it's the last photo of him. It's almost iconic.
Yeah.
It almost has a playful look on his face, but it's just basically there's nothing. You know, there was no. They just turned quickly, and boom, he shot it. They didn't have time to smile or anything, and then he just got in line and followed him. They turned right on Flamingo, and it was over in a few minutes. That was it.
Yeah. So everybody wants to know how did you get a hold of that autopsy picture, Kathy?
Well, as reporters, we have sources,
Yeah.
and I didn't solicit anything. It never occurred to me, and I was writing a book, and a source knew that and gave it to me. And lots of photos are taken during autopsies. You've got sometimes firefighters are in, a captain or something will be in an autopsy room during a coroner's examination. Cops, you'll have a detective or two. You might have a sergeant in the room. You've got coroner's office personnel. Each person has cameras there. That's little throwaway, little just whatever they are cameras, just to document and the coroner has their file, then the police department has their file, and I don't know if my understanding there were like something like 3 cameras in the room, and there were I don't know how many shots, 10 or something taken, because they take it of different angles, and they'll take it, of the stomach area, chest area. There are lots of photos. My understanding is I was given one. I didn't ask for it, and I was offered once it was learned that it had leaked out. I was offered $100,000 for it, and I said no.
Oh wow.
And it's not. It's not checkbook journalism. That's not what it's about. And we did put it in the book, but the reason, and it was, quite a discussion with the publisher and coming to the decision, because there were mainstream media reports that Tupac had faked his own death.
Oh yeah.
And the autopsy photo showed that he didn't. So it's a roundabout way, but it wasn't. It came to me, and I accepted it, and we published.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
A lot of people think that he faked his death. One reason, but some of the reasons have to do with that autopsy picture. And like a lot of people, so why didn't they take a picture of his face, and why are some tattoos
Well,
missing?
it's not that kind of thing. People go, oh, the lighting. Well, they used credit. It was just, this was 1996.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to tell what kind of. I know what kind of camera. It was the old coroner's examination room. Now they have a new one. And it was just around the corner from the hospital, and they knew his mother was coming in the next day, and they did the autopsy. He died at 4:15 or 4 when his death was announced, and then they him out. I don't know how much later, probably 45 minutes to an hour later, to the coroner, and they decided to do the autopsy right away, and then his body was sent to the morgue, and his mother picked up his ashes the next afternoon, Saturday afternoon, and flew his ashes home to Georgia. But it's not photography, you know what I mean? It's not like the photo that Leonard Jefferson took of Tupac was a decent photo with a really nice camera, because the guy's a photographer and has expensive camera equipment.
Yeah.
These are not, before iPhones, we all took credit pictures.
Oh yeah.
You could buy a throwaway cardboard camera. There were lots of different types used, and it was just a documentation of, and they took lots of angles of him. They took lots of different things. This just happened to be the one that the person gave me.
Yeah.
I didn't say, well, could you go and get a different angle? It was shocking when I got it. And, I didn't know in advance, and it just was, here it is. There's this is from the coroner's examination, and do what you want with it.
Yeah.
That's what, it's yours. And so they launched an investigation. The police department launched an investigation, and then they called my paper and said I don't know what it was, that I had participated, and I got on the phone with the undersheriff and said, no, you know better than that. I declined to be interviewed because I don't help police departments launch their own internal investigations.
Awesome.
But yeah, it wasn't my job to help them in their silly little investigation. What they were looking at, they wanted to know, they wanted to crucify the person who gave it to me. And that was their thing. And I've been asked since by people in law enforcement in Las Vegas who they'll guess and say, write to me, give me different names. I just, give them just no expression, and I don't answer their questions. That wasn't my job to help them with their little investigation. It was 30 days. It was written about, and it ended, and they didn't. My understanding is a couple of people were fired. I couldn't say whether those people helped or didn't help. But my thing is, when the person who gave it to me is no longer on this earth, I'll
Oh,
reveal who gave it. Yeah, I'll reveal. I'll go to a paper or something, and I'll reveal who gave it to me.
well, that's good. That I mean, at least you have loyalty, and it seems like you're a very real person. You know what I'm saying?
Well, thank you. Well, it's one of the tenets of journalism. People won't leak information or give you off the record information if you reveal your sources, and I don't reveal my sources, and when that person's gone, then I'll reveal the source.
That's cool, man. That's really cool, Kathy. Did you ever meet Frank? I mean, I know the answer, but the people are asking. Did you ever meet Frank Alexander?
Frank and we would be in the green room together at different TV shows, and I met him. Yeah, so we were friends. We talked on the phone. um, After, well, I'm not going to say what book, but after, there were two books that came out, and they mirrored a lot of what was in his book and what was in my book. And he picked up the phone once and called me, um, and then we had already, wait, he, that first documentary he was involved in, what is it? While I
Yeah,
wake, what was
Before
it?
I Wake.
Before I Wake. Yeah, I was in that one. Then I was in the sequel. So the guy kept trying to get it better, and then Frank kind of kept trying to change his story. Frank always told me that, and I was in a green room with him, went an after party after we were on the Kevin Neely show. It didn't last very long, and there were bunch of people, some really cool people were on the panel with us. And afterward, they have food for everybody, and it was in Burbank at a studio, and so we talked, and then I'm trying to. I saw him over the years. I saw him, several times. We'd run into each other, and then I was uh, in Las Vegas for when I interviewed for both when he was involved in the remake of the first Before I Wake. I never did get the title, but uh, so we sat around for hours talking, and nice guy, but his whole thing was the whole time he didn't see anything. He saw a brown arm come out of the passenger door of the back seat of the Cadillac, and then heard shots fired, and then a lot of smoke. Nothing but smoke. He said you couldn't see anything. It was so smoky because just a couple of people in Tupac's entourage returned fire.
Yeah.
So the Cadillac was a little shot up too, but nobody got hurt, unfortunately. But so that's it. Frank didn't see anything, and then he arrived late, so he, I mean, those guys weren't bodyguards. You know what I mean? They weren't trained as bodyguards. They were just big.
Yeah.
It's not like they're tactical guys, or they work for SWAT and they do this moonlighting. You can hire, and Suge had done that. He would hire off-duty police, and he did hire some off-duty police for Club 662 that night, all black. He requested all black, off duty, but they were all at Club 662. Nobody was hooked up with, they weren't hired to be bodyguards. They were hired to be security. And so they weren't security. They weren't trained security guards. Weren't even rent-a-cops. They're just big guys. Suge Knight and Reggie Wright, and Reggie and I are friends, but they're just big guys that Reggie Wright and Right Way Security, which was run by Reggie, and
Yeah.
Suge used him. They were partners, and they just hired a bunch of big guys, as kind of, and basically Frank just partied, and all the other bodyguards, and he wasn't assigned only to him. They were assigned to different people, but he got a lot of gigs going around the country with him, and they did a lot of partying, you know.
Yeah.
Protection, I don't, I don't. I mean, have you ever heard of any of them? Jumping someone other than um, at the MGM that night. They all jumped Orlando, but you didn't typically hear about it. The bodyguards were just kind of there for looks and maybe scare someone off,
Oh
but that
yeah,
was it. They weren't trained, like a Secret Service agent is. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. They were
No,
just there for muscle.
they were just buffed and looked mean and put a straight face on and go go follow him around. That's all they did. They weren't trained bodyguards. Maybe he later, I don't know if Reggie, got training in, but those guys weren't trained.
Yeah. Did you ever hear about that woman that was on the scene? She was interviewed by somebody, and she was saying that there was a helicopter
And
that
the
took
car,
Tupac.
yeah, yeah, that was funny.
What do you know about that? And what's your opinion on that?
Well, he wasn't life flighted out. There was no reason to do a flight for life when you're 2 miles, 1.5. He was 1.5 miles from the hospital. They don't do flight for life unless you're on the other side of Vegas, and they have to get to the other side through traffic. This was, a couple of streets away. And no, he was in an ambulance. I interviewed one of the ambulance drivers or one of the people in the ambulance, and she was just a nobody who came upon the scene, and I think she even mentioned that she was over on Flamingo, which he wasn't taken in an ambulance. He and Suge rode in the same ambulance. It was never ever reported by. I mean, when you go to the cops and they say an ambulance took him to the hospital or he arrived at so time, it's in the coroner's report. It's and a life for flight when it have been necessary. So I don't know why that would, somebody saying that doesn't make it true. She just was mistaken. My sense is she obviously didn't. There could have been a police helicopter in the sky, and maybe that's what she saw, or a TV news reporter, in the air, and because news stations have helicopters, so maybe that's what she saw, and assumed he was being life flighted out, but he was taken on the ground by ambulance, a few minutes away.
Oh, okay. Have you since you lived in Vegas, have you ever heard of a news team in Channel Zero News? Because that was the news team that was interviewing her.
Channel Zero?
Yeah, that's what we're all. Everybody's asking why
No,
was.
there's no Channel Zero. There's I mean, I'll have to look that one up. I mean, there are three. Well, you've got the three networks and then Fox. So you've got basically three. You've got 8, 10, and there I forget the KNSD is one. You've got their Fox 5, and then they were on Channel 5, and then you've got the I think Channel 8 was CBS, and then you had Channel 10, which I think was NBC. It's just, they're just regular affiliates, with the networks, and um, you did have. I don't know that the TV stations got to. I mean, they got there pretty late, you know. Um, I mean, they all were out. It was just a matter of reaching the scene when they heard the calls come in on their scanners. But it took them a little bit to get through traffic and get there. And she was just someone who was walking, I think, and a pedestrian, and came upon it, and somebody interviewed her, and it was a bunch of nothing. I saw a helicopter in the sky. Well, maybe it was a news team, maybe it was a police
Okay,
one, but it certainly wasn't a life or flight.
so there's a lot of
Because I
people.
don't know what difference that would make. I mean, what they took him off into freedom or something. I don't know. He was very badly injured. So I don't, injured in the chest, which is what did him in, unfortunately. But he wasn't speaking anymore either. He was in and out of consciousness, and then um, didn't. It was, I think, his last words were um, to Suge Knight, "I'm dying, man." I think that's what Suge has said. And then in the car when he was shot, he's Sugar's your shot, and Tupac's your shot, and because they both were bleeding, Sugar's bleeding from his head.
Yeah, yeah.
But you go in when you're losing that kind of blood, you become unconscious rather rapidly.
Yeah, I
He,
bet.
he lost a lot of blood.
Yeah, I bet. Did you ever, you mentioned that you were at the hospital. Did you ever see Tupac dead?
No, nobody could. I mean, that would be impossible. His mother did. She didn't even let Qaddafi in until. I mean, I don't know if Qaddafi went in after he died or not, but he, um, Afeni, his mother, was in charge of. So if you go to the hospital, I'm going to describe the trauma center to you.
Okay.
So if you go to the hospital, it's the back of the hospital where at the emergency entrance. You have the emergency entrance to the left. You've got the trauma unit to the right. I actually was treated years later when I broke my arm. I was treated in the trauma unit. So I've been a patient inside the trauma unit. It was in 2000. When did I break my arm? 2006, and I had a compound fracture, and they rushed me to trauma unit. So I was there. But I also had a friend who was in a coma in 2000, and I visited him on a daily basis. So I'm very familiar with the trauma unit. So you walk up, there's an emergency on the left, the trauma unit doors that are sliding glass, and you go in. Immediately when you go in, there's a small lobby where people can sit, and then there is an elevator to the left, kind of to the back of it. You look to the right, there is a uniformed guard who sits at the entrance to the trauma doors that take you inside to where the patients are. And that is smack dab in front, and he has to buzz you in. So Afeni, she was the one who, with the hospital, decided who could go in and visit Tupac. And it was, I mean, no one could go in unless, I mean, she let, you know, um, different people go in. There were, I think, um, I can't, it's all in the book, but there were a lot of people. Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of people who went in, but it was all her. And after then, when he died, they had kept resuscitating him. I think they resuscitated him 2 times, and then the last time it was up to her, and she said, let him go. He's been through too much, and because they couldn't stop the bleeding in his chest. That was the problem. It was because he had a couple of surgeries, and so no, I didn't see his body, and neither did anyone else. We all saw it in the autopsy photo, but no, no one saw in the hospital other than immediate family. And I don't know that even his father was there, and I don't know that she even let him in. It was all up to his mother.
Yeah. So a lot of people are asking again about the autopsy picture. They said that that Tupac had a tattoo on his neck that said Machiavelli. So they're asking how come it was invisible in the autopsy picture.
Poor lighting.
Poor lighting.
Yep. I mean, you can make it out a little bit. There's a little bit you can see, something there. If they look closely, they blow it up, look at it, and I have a very high resolution copy of it. And what's in its color, what's in the photo, in the book is a grainy black and white photo on paperback paper. It's not on photo paper, it's on grainy paperback paper, so it's not. So people have copied that photo from the book, which is grainy and it's black and white, and they have colorized it. So that is not colorized from the original photo. They're guessing on what the colors are, and so you can imagine. But the high resolution photo I have is in living color, and is the real color and not what was added by little entrepreneurs out there, little
Oh,
Photoshop people. So you can see a lot more in that photo. It's made out a little bit better, but the lighting is bad. Lighting is bad.
oh, okay. So I'm pretty
It's just
sure.
a quite camera. It wasn't a professional photo.
Yeah, I bet they probably went in there and took it real fast too, right?
Well, they do it for no. There's no. They're watching the entire autopsy. They're just shooting photos as the autopsy proceeds. They do the brain. They do. They take. It's awful, but they take organs out, and they're photographing as it's happening. And it's just guys shooting photos or gals, whoever's in there, just shooting for their files documentation of an autopsy. And then it goes back to the respective files of whatever agency has it, the coroner's office, police department, the fire department. It's just documentation. It's not meant to be photos or reproduced or anything. They're just, for their investigation, just, in the aftermath. So just, they take photos of crime scene photos are taken. They're out there with their cameras taken, just shooting, whatever it is they shoot. And autopsies are one of the things they also document.
Yeah, so Kirk
They
Ford
don't
is
give them
asking.
good cameras.
Yeah. So Kirk Ford is asking. What's your opinion on
I,
on why the height and the weight was different on his death certificate?
different on his death certificate is compared to what?
Compared to his ID, and I mean, he said it a lot of times that he weighed
Well, he
165.
lost a lot of fluid. He'd been in the hospital for 6 days, 7 days. So he'd lost a lot of fluid. They're pumping him with all kinds of things. Organs are removed at the time. I think they're put back in, but I would imagine he was dehydrated, or I don't know. But um, who I mean, it's just humans writing that stuff down. So I don't know if you were to check every autopsy and death certificate, who got what right. So I mean, the death certificate from his ID is, when did he get his license?
Yeah,
When did he get his license, his driver's license? So it could be 2 years apart too. So who knows what? There's the I don't know what the date of his license was.
I think it's
So I don't
95.
know. Yeah, and the people who nobody, you don't go to the DMV and they weigh you. They say, "How much do you weigh?" Do you think I give my exact weight?
Right?
I mean, so it's just whatever weight you give them. So it's the person, I weigh, well, blah blah blah. It's just Tupac telling the DMV how much he weighed. So who knows how much he weighed at that time? So I don't look at those things as big deals.
Yeah.
I know people pick things apart and it's evidence of this or evidence of that. No, not really. But I appreciate the question.
Oh yeah, of course. And also, you mentioned earlier that a lot of people in 1996 were saying that Tupac was alive. Why do you think that they were saying that, and what's your opinion on that?
Well, I think that one minute, death is hard. We just witnessed it. It's horrible for people. It's horrible for his fans, for people who loved him and his family and everybody else. And I think it's hard to wrap their brains around. And in one moment, there's this just charismatic, vibrant, you know, activist rapper who was, far beyond his time. And I think one of the best we've ever had.
Oh
And he was such a prolific lyricist, and he was such an intellectual. He was well read and self-educated, and I think he would have made who knows what. I think the all the criminal case and all that stupid rape thing that he was set up basically. I
yeah,
think, and I think it was consensual by all the circumstances and everything. It obviously was. But that would have been behind him. The whole prison thing would have been behind him. And I think who knows what he would have become, and someone who struck so vibrant and so alive, to be struck down like that, and one minute he's here and the next minute he's not. I think it's hard for people to accept. And so the theories got started, and it started with numerology and the 7-day theory and all of that. I don't believe in theories. I believe in facts and evidence. you know
oh yeah, of
but
course.
I think that's why it's like any conspiracy. It's like fake news. It's like it's not fake, but it's depending on the station you watch.
Yeah,
But but it's like it's a hoax. It's a hoax. It's not a hoax. It's real, and you base things on facts, and it is unfortunate that he died, and I think some people couldn't accept it.
Yeah, there's a lot of conspiracies out there.
Yeah, but conspiracies are conspiracies. They're not based on fact.
Hmm.
They're just it's a bunch of hoo ha.
Yeah, like, I mean, like the bull crap one that says, "My boy Reggie," and Reggie Wright's also my friend, and there's just so many of
He's a
him.
good guy. He's a good.
Oh,
He's
he's a
got a
great,
good heart.
yeah, he's a great guy, and
Yeah,
every time I hear those conspiracies on him, I just laughing. Oh my god! And these are people that never even talked to him before. I mean, they just call the guy, call him.
yeah, yeah. He's very easily. I could pick up the phone and call him right now if I wanted to. He's just an easy, nice guy, and just a businessman. They were just working, and and there's nothing nefarious about it. Even Suge Knight, who just says the weirdest things years later, but yeah, he's just trying to get attention or something. But he's up for murder, and he's not doing well, and um, he didn't have a good heart, but
Yeah,
I he was breaking away, and it was Chug who was setting him up in the new record company, and he was going to run it himself. And I went to the office. It was in Beverly Hills, and Qaddafi's mother, was going to be what she already was Tupac's business manager, and but he was an imprint. It's like a sub company of Death Row Records was his Machiavelli Records.
yeah,
I think wasn't that what it was called?
yeah,
And yeah, but it was through. He just wanted more control, and so Shook was setting him up with in the company, setting him up in business, and he already had an office. I went to it, and it was Yasmin was Qaddafi's mother, who was Mrs. Fula, who was working in the office already, and so it was already started, and he was excited about doing that. But it wasn't he was breaking away from death row. He was just becoming independent, having his own record company within the death row company.
yeah.
It wasn't like he broke away and went off, because he could have independently gone off. He would have had to try to get out of his contract, which is tough. So he just stayed with death row, but he was doing his own record company there.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
yeah, it would have been cool. And then eventually he could have broken away from it on his own.
Yeah,
But he's still under the umbrella of Death Row, but his own record company.
yeah. Picasso to Picasso asked, "Do you know anything about Gaddafi's death?"
Yeah, I'm not convinced that the two people, they pleaded him out really quickly, 14, 15-year-olds. I talked to the cops immediately. First thing they said to me, which was really odd, because it was in Orange, New Jersey, right?
Yes,
And he was killed in a
project.
low-income housing project, and went outside. It was at his girlfriend's apartment, or her family's apartment, in a crummy apartment building, and he's uh, outside. I guess he was sitting outside or whatever it was. But um, people have changed their stories. And Orange County, Orange, New Jersey police told me that morning, voluntarily said it had nothing to do with Tupac's murder.
Uh huh.
I'm like, well, I hadn't asked the question yet,
Uh huh.
but it was awfully quick in an investigation. I mean, look at what's going on right now with El Paso and um,
Walmart.
in
Yeah.
Ohio, yeah, and they're not giving, they're waiting to, they're letting a little bit out, but it's, they don't know a whole lot about the second one and the guy, and they don't want to say that it's one way when they don't have all the evidence yet. They're still investigating. So this had just happened. And this, I thought it was just them, and happened rather quickly to put that Qaddafi's murder to rest. And I just don't. I just I don't know. He was the only one who said he could ID him, and he gets dead 6 months, 2 months later.
So who do you think it was?
Well, I don't know if the Crips did it, or they were protecting Orlando Anderson, because they have a deep reach. We know that Puffy Combs used to hire Crips out of New York, do bodyguarding. He did it out of L.A. as well, and I don't know. I'm not. I don't know if that was. I'm on the fence about that one.
Why do you think they've never took Puffy to trial or questioned him or anything like that, or if they have, what do you
Trial
think
for
about that?
what? What would he be for trial?
Well, I mean, why?
What would he be arrested for? Well, I'm sure he was questioned by police about, you know, Biggie. I don't necessarily know why he would be questioned about Tupac, but about, I mean, you're doing the whole conspiracy, that big, big thing that Biggie Smalls was in. He wasn't in Vegas when Tupac was shot. You know that, right? Biggie
Yes.
was in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was nowhere. So that was the LA Times reporter ran with a little gangbanger out of Compton who fed him the story, and two Compton cops told detectives, because the writer, I'm not even going to say his name, at the LA Times, and he was fired. Um, he he knew it was a one source story, and he ran it past these two Compton detectives, gang cops,
Yeah.
and they said, this is not the intelligence we've gotten on the street. The intelligence is Orlando Anderson killed Tupac Shakur, and he ran with it anyway, and he lost his career over it. I mean, he can't. Nobody will hire him anywhere because the story was so wrong, and he knew it when he wrote it. When you're told by, had I written a story, number one, I wouldn't run a story past anybody, but I'd say, hey, I'm getting this information. Am I going in the right direction? And two street gang cops tell you it's dead wrong. Would I run with that? Hell no.
No.
And it was sensational, and and of course, and Valletta Wallace, I interviewed her several times, but she filed it again. They did that, um, and instead of suing the reporter in the newspaper, that's what she should have done. But yeah, they ran with a bad story.
Yeah.
So yeah, so so Biggie had nothing to do with, they were friends. They used to hang together. Tupac would go pick him up in his limo, and go when he was in New York, and they go to Bed-Stuy and play foosball, in a bar in Biggie Small's neighborhood. I interviewed Biggie's best friend he grew up with, and because I went into Bed-Stuy and interviewed a whole bunch of people, and for the Biggie Smalls book, and they were friends. So he was crushed when Tupac helped Biggie become big, because Tupac would be on stage and he'd invite Biggie up. And Biggie would go on, and you've seen all the photos of him. So
Oh yeah.
Biggie would go up on stage. So Tupac really helped Biggie's career. But the where the hip hop rap, the whole hip hop rap war started
Oh yeah.
between Biggie and Tupac was at Quad Studios when Tupac got shot, and Tupac bought into people telling him that Biggie had something to do with it, and he didn't. He didn't. He was interviewed by he and uh, Sean Combs were interviewed by Manhattan police that night. You can see them; they're on tape, videotape. It was scary what happened, but it was the media and the record companies, frankly, I think, who were driving the rap war as well, because it sold records. It's all a bunch of hype. It
Yeah.
wasn't based on any facts.
Yeah. I mean, well, Keefe D keeps talking about it. That's why I was asking.
Oh
Keefe D.
yeah, you know what? His confession, 17 years later, because you're going to get a sweet. They call them queen for a day.
Yeah.
When you plead out and you get a deal, it's a queen for a day. So he was just trying to come up with some hype, and I'm not going to say his name either. He fell for it, and trying to promote his own book and comes out with a bunch of hoo-ha about Keefe D 70. The police didn't even pay attention to it because it was a bunch of hooey. It was a bunch of BS. Of course, all of a sudden he sees the light and says, "Oh, I was in the car too," and it was all, and Puffy or paid $1 million. Well, who pays $1 million for a hit? Gangbangers kill people every day. They don't get paid for it. They just do it because they have no value of life. They go do a drive-by shooting just cause. They're not organized crime like the mob was.
That's true.
Not organized. They're very disorganized, and they have no value of life. So it's not like, what Puffy is going to pay some, kid in L.A. It's just ridiculous. He's a businessman. He was in New York. They don't do that sort of thing. It's all hyperbole. It's just to stir the story,
Yeah.
but it's not based on any fact. And you get a one person telling a reporter this, and they say it's not based on fact, and the guys on the street who know all the intelligence is like, no, 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 you're gonna, this is dangerous and you shouldn't do it. It's you're gonna get in trouble over it. You're gonna lose your job because the story's not true, and it there was no evidence to back it up. And one little gangbanger, who you say it here, and it comes out there.
Yeah. So Derek is
What other
asking.
questions?
Yeah. um.
Sorry, I'm talking a lot.
Oh no, that's okay. That's okay. We love that. We love that. Derek is asking if you ever met or heard of anybody named Devin Clark, which people claim it was Tupac's double or something like that.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, you have a lot of, how many Elvises are there in Vegas? Impersonators. I did meet an impersonator at a club in Vegas once. There were impersonators. There was a Tupac impersonator and a couple of other guys, and but no, I've never heard of him. So Tupac didn't hire an impersonator and go. You know what I mean? But no, I've never heard of him.
Right on, Kathy. Well, thank you so much, Kathy, for being on here, Kathy. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, and thanks for all the questions, and hello to those who were listening. And I hope I hope it was helpful, and I'll hook you up with Rick Ross.
Awesome, Kathy. Thank you so much for doing this, and we loved having you on, and we'll talk to you soon.
You're welcome, Danny. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you, Kathy.
Bye bye.
Bye. Y'all heard her, man. Y'all heard her. All right. I kept seeing that you guys saying that I'm freezing. Am I still freezing? Is it freezing? Yeah, is it still freezing or not freezing? What's going on, guys? What's going on? Let me know. Am I freezing? Bad lighting. Yeah, like the autopsy picture, bad lighting. Yeah, it's got her face frozen. No, right now it's not. Yeah, guys, sorry. Like I always tell you guys, man, when I do lives, guys, it's it's always gonna be, you guys are not gonna be able to hear me that well. Okay, that's why I always tell you guys, put on your headphones and stuff like that. And I'm gonna try to ask Kathy for a personal picture of the Tupac autopsy in high resolution, so we can show it on Wired Up TV, and you guys can see everything. If the Tupac tattoo is faded, was it a fake picture, or was it a real autopsy picture of somebody else? You know what I'm saying? But yes, Picasso, I got your text. Explain things in detail, so people could understand, and you know what I'm saying. I mean, that's which is good. That's how I am too. When I talk, somebody asks me a question, I explain every point from A to B. So I try to ask all your guys' questions and stuff like that. Sorry if I didn't get to a lot of them. But if I don't get to them now, you guys can always send them to wideuptv4you@gmail.com, and I will have a private interview with her so you guys can hear better. Marge Billingsley, because I kept hearing Marge go, "I'm out of here. I bet it's freezing, this and that."
Marge, we always tell you guys put on your headphones, and if you guys don't hear it well, when I upload it, after the interview, you can always put on your headphones and put the volume up, and you'll be able to hear me. Thank you, Tammy Frazier. Guys, I just moved out and stuff like that, so I'm trying to get my computer set up and all my things set up. So next time we do lives and stuff like that, you guys can hear better, and it doesn't keep freezing like some of you said. I didn't see nothing freeze on my side. But again, you guys are the ones watching, so I don't know. And a lot of the times, guys, it's not on our side when it freezes. A lot of the time, it's on your side. And thank you, Marge Billingsley. You're awesome. It froze here, yeah. So a lot of you guys said it froze, but some of you guys said it didn't freeze. So sometimes it's your guys' connection. Sometimes it could be ours. I don't know why I left on. She told Pac definitely like a pro. No saying I believe everything, but yeah, for sure. Um, but yeah, guys, the reason we interview her is for the simple fact that we want to ask her questions and we want to get to be able to sort off everything. And yes, Derek asked the Devin Clark, not only Derek, a couple of you guys, but Derek kept on pushing. Thank you, Derek, saying about Devin Clark and stuff like that. She did not say she didn't know him. Okay, she told you guys, I'm not gonna admit anything because I'm loyal and I am basically like a researcher. So she said, into those people I know are dead, I'm not gonna say nothing. You know what I'm saying? So you guys have to know how to read between the lines. Like I always tell you guys, people are not gonna come on here and be like, I know this and that, for a lot of reasons. Because the friends, their friends, they don't want to put their friends in jeopardy. Just like me and you guys. Let's say you guys tell me, and a lot of you guys have sent me stuff, and you guys tell me, please don't put my name or face on there. Well, what if I were to put your email and your name and all your information when you guys tell me not to? You guys ain't gonna like me. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of stuff that people say, man, they say are gonna say little things here and there. You guys need to know how to read between the lines. She never said she didn't know Devin Clark. Okay, when I asked her that question, she laughed and she goes, "Well, how many Elvis impersonators did you know?" You guys need to know how to read between the lines, and we do these interviews for the fact for your guys' research. You know what I'm saying? So you guys can make your own research and put the BS with the real and do your own thing. Like I told you guys, this channel is for you guys. Okay, this channel is for y'all. All right, it's not for nobody else. It's for y'all. That's why when you guys send me something, I'll post it up. If you want your name on it, I'll put your name on it. If not, not. And for those people that are new, um, when we do lives, guys, you know what I'm saying. I'm gonna try to get better equipment and stuff like that. But when we do live, sometimes you won't be able to hear me that good, but you'll be able to hear the person I'm interviewing perfectly. So just bear with me, put your headphones on, bump the shit as loud as you can. Or what you guys can do is just be on here, ask your questions. Just ask your questions, and when the interview is over, you guys can go back. I'm gonna try to get better equipment, guys. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? Like I tell you guys, I don't do this for the money. I do it because I like doing it. I like to get the information. I like to give you guys the information. So I never bought a whole bunch of stuff to make money off YouTube. I do it because I like it. We have our own business here. Thank God he's giving me the opportunity to have my own business. So I don't depend on YouTube. I love doing it, and I love you guys, man. I love talking to y'all, and I'm always gonna keep it real with you guys, and you guys need to support the real, man. You know what I'm saying? What other Tupac Alive channel has all these interviews with these great people that were actually there, that met Afeni Shakur, Tupac, that were there that day when he was shot? She was in the hospital. You know what I'm saying? And this is not the only interview, though. Reason I saved a lot of the questions for a one-on-one personal interview with all these people. So I'm still gonna do more interviews with Reggie, right? With Cathy, Scott, and she's gonna hook me up, with Freeway Ricky Ross. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna have him on, uh, and ask him questions and stuff like that about what happened. You know what I'm saying? You guys can research who he is. We're also gonna try to have other people. We're gonna see if we can get the ambulance person, the lady that she was talking about, on for an interview. And we're gonna have on here, guys. You know what I'm saying? We're always gonna have people on here. Um, so don't feel bad about it. If your question didn't get read, I had 100 questions coming up at once, guys. But yeah, guys, you guys need to learn. Or Tancavelli, that's a tight ass name. I got the one with Pac and Devin Clark said I want to put them with it. All right, just talk to Cathy. Oh, okay, for real, Picasso. That's what Subway should say. You know what I'm saying? And Picasso to Picasso, I was gonna mention your name, but I didn't want to put your real name out there, dude. So that's why I just called you by your screen name. So just tell her that, I texted you. Oh, okay, Picasso, for sure, for sure. I'll go ahead and read it when I'm off. Marge Billingsley, talk to you all later. Thank you, Marge Billingsley, for being a part of Wired Up TV. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Marge, once I upload it, you can put your headphones on and you can bump all the volume up and stuff like that. I'm still new on YouTube, so I'm trying to figure all that out. But I'm trying to have all these beautiful people on here for you guys so you guys can, ask questions and hear them and so you guys can know who the real is, guys. Support the real, don't support the phonies, support the real. Need to get Kevin Hackey. Tammy Frazier. Interesting that you said that. I got a connection with somebody, Pac's good friends and people that were there. You're my family too, Marge Billingsley. Your family too. We got your back here. And we actually spoke to Kevin Hackey. You know what I'm saying? And we're trying to get him on here. I mean, I need to rephrase that. I didn't speak to Kevin Hackey. He spoke to Kevin Hackey, and we're trying to get him on here and stuff like that. So that's on the way. Uh, you know what I'm saying? But yes, we're gonna try to get Kevin Hackey on here and everybody that you guys want. People are asking for Mopreem Shakur. We will definitely try to get Mr. Mopreem Shakur on here. You know, um, and everybody that you guys want, guys. Just ask and we will try. The Wired Up TV team is always on it. Joe Gracia, Picasso to Picasso. He's always on it. Suge Jr. too. We're gonna try to get on here too. Uh, oh, Billy Garland. Billy Garland. That is somebody I would love to interview, guys. And I forgot about that. We are definitely gonna try to get Mr. Billy Garland, Tupac's biological father, and get him on here. What do you think about Glasses Malone? A lot of you guys keep asking about it. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna try to get him on here, guys. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna see if I can get him on here. I don't think he really likes to do a lot of interviews with people he doesn't really know, but I'm gonna see if I can reach out to somebody that can reach out to him for me to get me in direct contact with him. So he can do an interview with us, guys. But yeah, Teapot 83. Cassie made a lot of sense. Have to say, she seems to know her stuff. Sounds like Pac might really be gone. Hate to say it. Well, that's your opinion, Teapot 83. You know what I'm saying? We support everybody's theories here. I'm on D with Billy Garden. All right, thank you, Picasso. I already know you are. I'm sorry, bro. I had to know about Devin Clark. I'm glad you got her on the record. You dropped a Wired Up TV exclusive. Thank you, Derek. I saw your question, brother. I saw all you guys' question. You know what I'm saying? But we're she never said that she did not know Devin Clark. When I asked her that, she laughed. So, I mean, whatever you guys, however you guys want to take that, I don't want to twist up her words because she didn't say that she knew him or not, but she didn't say she didn't either. So that's just what the interview shows. You guys can put that as however you guys want. Cathy did a great interview, an awesome interview, and it was beautiful. She's awesome. She's a great talker. You know what I'm saying? She explained everything in detail. Everything you guys heard what she said. She doesn't believe the uh she doesn't believe that the Qaddafi thing, that he was murdered by accident or this and this and this and this and that. She doesn't believe that, guys. She said it on the record, so you know what I mean. She thinks it was something else. And thank you, Arian Cross. You're awesome too. Thank you, Erica, Richelli, for being on here, guys, and supporting the channel, and being on here with you guys. I tell you guys, support the real. You guys support the real, and quit watching those people that just think that you guys are dumb and play with you guys and all that. Um, and you support the real. I'll keep having great people on here, guys, and all that stuff. Make this your favorite Tupac Alive channel, and we will do stuff for everybody, man. We'll have people for the Tupac Alive community, from the just regular Tupac community, people that think all kinds of things, guys, because you guys We're researchers, and we need to talk to everybody, not just the people that believe what we believe. We need to talk to everybody and welcome everybody. For than she knows it was real, she would know the fake body and how they get all those tats. And Devin that quick, and they know if they fake. You're a good guy there, Danny. Thank you, Robert Hicks. I got love for the real deal. For sure, Jason Hopkins, and you got love for me. Consuelo Cornejo, wired. Consuelo Cornejo, much love, mija. Much love, beautiful. I'll talk to you right now on Messenger, brother. Good interview. Thank you, Joe Grassi Jr. Well, guys, thank you guys for being on here. You know what I'm saying? I love you guys. I did this for you guys. You know what I'm saying? Stay tuned. We'll be dropping more videos. I'm gonna try to drop a video tonight, for all the European people and everybody. So I'm gonna drop a. I gotta do some work. Tonight. So I'll be up to like 2 in the morning. So I have to do some work tonight. So I'll drop a video for you guys tonight for all the people in Europe and all you guys that work late and work graveyard shift and all that. I don't forget about you guys. And we will be doing another live stream. I'm gonna see who I'm gonna have. I'll drop it on the stuff to see who we're gonna have. I'm gonna try to get somebody else on, maybe a Freeway Rick Ross. When Cathy Scott hooks us up again. Thank you so much, Cathy Scott. We love you. You were awesome. Thank you so much. Um, you know, uh, and thank you all you guys. Big shout out to Tanca Valley, Consuelo Cornejo, Picasso Tupacaso, Todd Whittier, Orange Soda. I love Orange Soda. Arian Cross, Tammy Frazier, Mr. Derek. Who else? Teapot 83, Joe Gracia Jr., Robert Hicks, Jason Hopkins, Erica Riccelli. Who else? Be Busy, GTA Warlord, Wyatt Bookie, or let me see, Picasso, Marsha Felix. I mean, all you beautiful people, guys. Luis Muriel. Yes, I'm wired up, Luis Muriel. And everybody, man, I love you guys so much. Stay wired up. Always, 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 always stay wired up. Big Chap 77, big shout out to you too. Guys, I love you guys so much. Always stay wired up. And for you guys that couldn't really hear this so much, it'll be uploaded in about 40 minutes or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And you guys can rehear it again. I love you guys. And keep your head up, and always, always stay wired up. Don't let people tell you what to think. Do your own thinking. Don't support these fake channels that are lying to you guys and don't give you guys any proof. They're just making stuff up. Stay with the real guys, and I'll keep hooking you guys up with as much as we can. I love you guys so much. You know what I'm saying? Keep your head up. You know what I'm saying? I always got your guys' back. Keep positive. Don't let people put you down and make you feel like you ain't nothing, or you're dumb for what you believe in. Whatever, you have the right to believe in whatever you want. And the people that don't have the heart to believe what they want is because they follow the crowd, guys. They're afraid to be put out to the side and be asked questions because they're hiding something. Always remember that. Daisy Garcia, much love, and always, always, always stay wired up, guys. I love you guys. Talk to you guys soon. Peace out, y'all.